the city. It is freezing out. It's minus 20 Celsius, which is pretty well along its way to really freaking cold at minus 21. And I think it's going to get down to minus 25, and then it's going to warm up, and we're going to have some more rain. Aren't we fortunate? And I'll get the wipers going here. Rear defrost is on. The steering wheel's trying to heat up. I'll go back here. We'll check all our giddies out. I put the recirc on. Front and rear heaters. High, which is over 30 degrees. And it's just freaking nuts, man. I'm telling you. So, what we're going to do is we'll hook you up here. And I'm running out of these clips that go onto this thing here. The one that's on the camera is, for whatever reason, I don't know how it works out, but I keep breaking the darn things. So we're just going to wait till it warms up enough to get out of here. Steering wheel's coming. Let me see about the seat. Driver's seat is on. Let's go to the other one. Let's see. Controls. Heated seat. We'll throw the passenger one on here to get some more heat going. No point in cleaning the backup camera. Ooh-wee. Leave that for a minute. Should have started this thing up a little bit earlier. Oh man. It's like a block of friggin' ice in here. Oh, gotta put the camera. Gotta hook up my mobile. Oh, this is still pretty good. I call it my mobile, but it's not. It's no longer a mobile. It's now it's what do you call it? Lifesavers. And oh, there's stamps. Thanks. My wife and her stuck there. There, get rid of those. We're going to have to get some Skittles. Hey, look at that. That works good. Okay, that's good enough to get going, I think. There we are. Wow. If we go slow, by the time I get going here, it'll warm up. So, the internet guy came yesterday. Talk about happy. Well, we can't see nothing now. Temperature in the Jeep hasn't even started to come up. So, Tony, this is how it works. My dish on the side of the house points to a tower, and on that tower there's 4 panels. 2 panels I can connect to. The other 2 panels are pointing in another direction for other folks. Oh wow, it's a freaking near whiteout here. So what happens is we'll call the 2 panels, the long name is, I can't remember, but the short name is 701 and 801. 801 is a good panel. 701 is not a very good panel. I guess if we turn this off, maybe that'll help the window. So what happens is that when the modem has been reset, factory reset, it connects to the best panel on the tower of the 2 I can connect to. Now, here's what happened. Just before Christmas, they took the good panel down for maintenance or whatever. It wasn't on. So I automatically, because there's a backup redundancy kind of a system there, I connect to the bad tower, number 70, or the bad panel, number 701. And my machine, so there's a dish outside on the side of the house. It comes into a power supply unit that takes the signal and puts it into their hub. It's kind of like a hub or a router they call it, but they call it a hub anyway. And then on my system, I have a router plugged into it so that I can have Wi-Fi in the house instead of paying to have them turn on the hub on their device. Anyway, even if I unplug it for 30 seconds, the power supply, it doesn't make any difference. It still stays on the old tower or the new tower, depending upon whatever, right? So if the good panel goes down, then it automatically just goes to the bad panel, stays there until I open up the software, like 192.168. whatever, and I can open up the router, or not their power supply, and get into it. Then I can go over to maintenance and hit factory restore. And what it does is it disconnects me from the panel, reboots the device. It takes about a minute, and what it does, it looks for the best signal from the towers that it can see, or the panels that it can see of the 2, because it's pointing in the right direction. This got a bit of freaking snow coming down, 20 below. And I got some damn thing in my eye now. So anyway, now I know how to... Okay, here comes a car. I got something stuck in my eye. Oh, good, they've turned. We've been saved. That's a beautiful Jessica from the Bear Machine. Okay. So here we are, puttering along, enjoying life. We have the internet working now. So that's one thing scratched off the list of things that annoy the hell out of me. Now, no matter how many times I called ExploreNet, not one of them people that they hired could figure out there's a problem, even after I explain to them how bad things are. According to their documentation, when they look at it, they look at the tower, or they don't look at the panels actually at all. They look at this thing called a CNIR or something like that. There's a 0 and there's a CNR 0 or 1. And as long as it reads 3 dB or better, they think I'm okay. Not only that, the signal strength off of their little meter says I've got 2 bars. Now this only happens during regular working hours. I can use the internet pretty near like normal while just change the heat around a bit. Oop, there's this frost heap starting there, the old spot. So anyway, as it goes, it's been like this for years. And now, I started copying what it said on their software from just shortly after when it happened before Christmas. So the old fellow, this Mr. E, we'll call him, came up. I waved him into the house to save him from taking the ladder off and going up and checking the dish right off the bat. And I says, look, just watch me and I'll explain to you what I see. But I didn't get very far in it. He says, well, you're on the bad panel. And then he showed me how to get onto the good panel, and then we had a nice little chat after that. I must say, of all the times the old fella came out, which was twice, he discovered that there was a bad cable from their dish, or ExploreNet's dish. There's 2 companies involved in this thing. ExploreNet, who's the internet service provider, and Advanced Tech are the guys that do all the fixing. They're contracted out to repair all the whatever is going on. So anyway, he says, you got good, as I explained, 2 panels that you connect to. There's actually 4, he says, but the other 2 are pointing in another direction, servicing other folks. And as he explained it, on the tower, ExploreNet's dishes were at the top at one point. So what they did is they extended the tower up, and they rented the top section up to another company, Bell, which is a great big phone company. And it had some effects on the panels just below it. But anyway, long story short, I should phone them up and demand credit for all the freaking inconvenience that I've had to put up with. Same with my neighbor down the road. I go there and used to have to make the phone call, because our system is that we have not only the internet, our phone is tied into this thing as well. Because as you can see, the lines here on the side of the road, we lose power a couple times a year or more. It just depends upon how the tree falls. When it falls out of the woods, it lands onto the line. And up where we are, there's a bazillion trees, as you can see if you look in the video when you're watching me going along here. So I'm just glad that we figured it out. And I was pretty close with Look, there's a tree that fell right there. We have a lot of that. Our power went up for an hour just the other day, which is a common thing, you know, like it just happens. And the worst we had was 4 days, most 5 days in the winter, and then it was like 2 weeks in the summertime when Hurricane Arthur came through here in 2014. That's when I bought the generator, so we wouldn't have to deal with that problem anymore. And as it is, it takes about 5 days, if we're careful, on how much additional things we run before the propane runs out for the generator. And all our computer equipment, or my computer equipment, is on the generator, so if it power fails, I can still make a phone call, and I can still hook up to the internet to report to the power company, hey, I got no power down here. Now, I don't know if they can pick up, if they have sensors on the poles going on the way down there or not, but when they're making megawatts of power, bazillions, and they lose a line somewhere, if it's only a little line coming up our road here, it doesn't really freaking have much effect on their overall system. They might not be able to pick it up. But somebody would be able to tell me this. I got several guys that I know that work for Edby Power still. I just have to ask him to figure it out. As a matter of fact, the guy across the street used to work for him. I did. My neighbor did. The guys at the 2 camps on the side of the hill on our side did. Old Alonzo did. He used to climb the poles and fix the power up there. So he'd probably be the easiest guy to ask, actually. He'd probably know. He's in his early 80s, but he worked up. Man, he's a tough little, rugged little guy. He wouldn't think twice about coming to town for a coffee here. I mean, up here is the Burtts store. Oh, yes. Let's go to PetSmart and get some dog food so we get some weight in the Jeep. Things don't look too bad right now. I suspect underneath this little bit of snow that's on the road, that's another frost heave. I gotta watch for that one on the way home. So let's go the back way. Let's go over the dam. Okay. Nobody coming that way. And off we go. Oh, this guy's doing a bit of a wobble down the road. There he goes. Out of this driveway. Has he got a plow on there? No. That's what I need right there, is some kind of an old truck. So there we go. That's the story on it for the internet. What a freaking pain that's been. This has gone on since 2014. Normally we didn't ever pick up on this because we weren't here till 2016. You know, and then we were on the good panel for quite a long time, and then when it started to be turned into crap, none of the technicians could figure it out. Slow down for the school. knows if those little dammers are in school or not. It looks like it. The COVID cases in the province have taken off like crazy. Mind you now, we've had 2 or 3 days in a row where the total case count has gone down. And we've only got a small population here. We've got a population of, say, 750,000 people. And they're saying that within a few weeks, if things don't get smartened up, we're going to have 5,000 new cases every day. It won't take long before we're all sick. And this new strain has killed 30 people at least in our province with that freaking virus thing. But on the good note, the internet's fixed. I know how to repair it until the good panel goes bad. But there always should be one panel better than the other. That's the way it works. Whatever has got the strongest signal. The problem is that if the good tower goes down for maintenance, I end up flipping over to the other one. And I'll have to reboot the router every hour on the hour until I can connect to the new one when they bring it back up. I hope. That's a wonderful day. I used to love to go four-wheeling in this kind of weather. Usually grab a buddy and we grab a bottle and off we go. Just go have fun. Get stuck, get out the winch. Off we go again. This is not here, this would be in Alberta. This is like in the 1970s and 80s. But then after that, it wasn't long before I quit drinking. And this year will be 32 years, so it's been 32 years at least since I've done some crazy stuff. On that note, that is. 10 years or more now not smoking. I wished I knew that years ago. Never did smoke. That's brutal on the lungs, that stuff. Which is why, in part, I got to go see the doctor today. Get him to explain how these inhalers work. I've got 2 inhalers. One that's supposed to open up the lungs, and the other one's steroids for whatever that's supposed to do. The one that's got the steroids in it's like $100. And the other one's cheap. But I'm not sure when to use them and how to use them. Even on the instructions, it says when you need to use them, use them. Well, most of the time I don't have any problem. Okay, we gotta make a turn here. I see the Keswick River is froze over. Looks like somebody's garbage can. It is, but it is. It's okay, we got. There we go. Oh, we got a snowman here. How about that? Big one. nothing. And it's 11:20. And I gotta be at the doctor's at 3:30. And because I had to wait for my wife, I was ready to leave at 10 o'clock, not 11. She says, "Can I have a shower before you go?" I said, "Sure. Go ahead." Then she starts doing dishes. Then she starts feeding the dogs. Then she starts frigging with boiling meat. Then she starts doing this. So she blew another hour. I don't like working like that. My dad pounded it into my skull that, hey, better to be 5 minutes early in this world than 10 minutes early in the next. Something like that. I can't remember exactly how it went. I'll have to ask my brother if he remembers. My dad used to have all kinds of neat little sayings. Some of them appropriate, and some of them not so appropriate. It sounds like I gotta fix that ice on the wiper. That's gonna drive me nuts. And we got a guy ice fishing out there, putting up a tent. More power to you. Yeah, I remember ice fishing. We used to do it several ways. You could sit in a bucket over the hole in the environment, and it was cold, even with insulated coveralls on. It wasn't pleasant. Or you could struggle and try to get a tent up. A lot of times it was windy and it was hard to, trying to hang on to the tent, get it all set up. Always sweating after that. And the best one was you drill a couple of holes out on either side of the windshield up front, and you put your fishing line onto the wiper, and every time the wiper would move, it would jig the hooking down the hole for you. That reminds me, I don't think that worked all that well. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull off here at the first available spot, and I'm going to go and fix that rear wiper. Up here somewhere, I think I can pull off. Pull off somewhere where it's safe. I've seen enough guys pulling off in places that's not safe. You come up over a hill or around a corner. If the roads are good, you're boogieing along pretty good. Next thing you know, there's a car right there. There's a place up here I can do it in. Bet you this place is freaking windy up here. This is the top of Keswick Ridge. Oh good, let's go and not even look. fancy Volvo. Come on, step on it. That's, yeah. Nothing like turning in front of somebody and then crawling along. I'm pretty sure not even looking. Here's an interesting thing that I found out. Trees on a hillside lead into the hill when they grow. Trees that are well protected and on the top of the hill. Here we go. We got a church here or something, don't we? Yeah. We'll pull in here. Turn around. Oh, we didn't have to. Stop here and I'll just jump out and get that fixed right now. Wow, half an hour to get over here. Okay, be right back. I'll turn these ones on there. They're good. Okay, be right back. That'll help. So let's go get some dog food here. That other that little car there should be long gone by now. Okay. Holy jeez. We're barely halfway to town here. Okay, here we go. I guess I could have took some of the snow off the front. Turn the heat down 20. There, we're good. I'm sold, it says. Here's a potato or an apple depot. Right, apples, I think it's like a 50-pound bag for $10 in the fall. You can use that for baiting deer and bears, if you're so inclined. I'd only bait a bear if, I wouldn't bait a deer, but I would only bait a bear if he was causing problems around the house. Other than that, they can go. It's okay. There's no big deal. Now here's a place right straight ahead. You can see a couple of towers through the trees there. That's another possible place to connect to, but I can't connect there because of the trees from my place. And there's the panels up at the top. They're all flat. These are different tower than the ones that I connect to. If you want to know where the tower is, you can go on Google Map, find Sheepy Hollow, and then you can type in for Crab Mountain. That'll show you where that is. Then if you can see this difference between the ski hill and my place. I have line of sight, so there's nothing in the way. But as I said, that's a freaking relief. You have no idea, some of you guys, if you have good internet connection. My wife likes to watch movies. Harlequin, romance, Christmas movies, that kind of stuff. And when it starts to swirl, she says, "Is there a problem with the internet?" And I've tried 100 times to explain it to her. And maybe last night, or the night before last night actually, she got to understand kind of a little how it works. I showed her on her laptop how the thing works by the little line on the bottom. I said, "See that red part?" I says, "That's what you've already seen. See that little white part? That's what they've sent to you. It's buffered in your computer so you can watch it while they send the rest of it to you." "Well, why don't they send it all to you?" she said. "Because they don't know if you're going to watch it all or just quit. Right? So they don't want to waste all that network on stuff that people aren't going to watch." Big login operation going on there. Must be a housing development coming in here. Ka-ching, ka-ching for somebody. These trees are all gone too. Yeah, this is an ideal place for if you want to live kind of in the country but still have the security of all the people around you. This is the Magnequack. This is where the hydro dam is. There's a big park, a provincial park across the water to the right there. You can see that. You have to book well in advance to be able to get your equipment in there, whether it's a tent or a camper or a trailer. That books up pretty well all summer. It's rare to get in there. There's a few other places along here that you can camp at, but now this place up here, you can't see it from here, but we'll drive by it anyway. There is a old hotel. It's been here for quite some time. And they're going to sink a whole bunch of money into it. I think it's closed now. And it's going to turn it into a posh retirement home for the wealthy. So it's right here. On the right. think they call it the rivers or something like that. Now, I don't know what's going to make it all that special, considering that if you're in an old folks home, I think you'd want to be in the city, as close to the hospital as possible, so they can drag your carcass in there to get fixed up when things don't go so good in the retirement home. You know? Living out in the country like this is maybe it's only, say, 15, 20 minutes to get into the city. I mean, if you're in an ambulance, maybe a couple of minutes faster than that. But, you know what I mean, right? When you get older, the last thing you want to do is be living out in the middle of freaking nowhere, like we are. But we're not that old enough. No, we're not that old yet. We'll see what another 5 years brings. I'm 5 years older than my wife, and I can see the difference between the two of us. She gets a little frustrated with me because I get freaking tired quick. You know, I go and rototill the garden up and say do that for an hour, hour and a half. That's it for the day. I come in, my side hurts. That's what the doctor's supposed to fix, but in 5 years he's still freaking, we're still taking swings at the ball they throw at him. He hasn't hit a homer on that yet. Such is life. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit more. Holy jeez. Oh, time for a Skittle. Put them on my list of things to get today. Ooh, they don't like this 20 below stuff in the car. And the road's okay. It's in good shape. Gotta watch out for the black ice. As long as you're not stomping on the gas pedal and stomping on the brakes, you'll be alright. And when you live out in the country, you can read the roads pretty good compared to a lot of folks that live in towns and cities. Yeah, pretty good. We'll let this guy just follow him and just putter along. I got some other clown racing up behind me here now. And if I remember, I'll see if I can take off a little snow off the hood when I get into the city. Hood or the bonnet, it's called, in the UK. trunk. They call it a boot. Don't get that part. Oh well. And for you folks that want to know why they drive on the other side of the road over there, I was told a long time ago when the nights were bold and the days were old, something like that, being that most people, like 90% of the world, is right-handed, they'd be on the right or the other side of the road so that they could use their sword and whack a guy on the other side of the road. And if you're on this side and right-handed, you have a hard time whacking the guy on the other side of the road. So that makes perfect sense. And I don't know why. It's probably because the Americans, I say this with all due respect, didn't like what the British did, so they flipped it the other way around. And I do know from being in a few countries where I had to go on the other side of the road, it's different. I mean, your head can get used to it easily enough. But when we had in Sri Lanka, we had a driver take us around the country during the war on a vacation, and we were on the other side of the road, and it was weird getting in the car and you're on the passenger seat here, like it would be here, but over there it'd be like you're in the driver's seat. Here, just freaking weird. Okay, what do we got going on here? Everybody's kind of slowed down. Yep, everything's fine. This guy probably can't see very good out that van. Oh, there's another guy stopped over here. Why didn't you just go in there? There he comes. We're getting there. Slow go. It's lunchtime already. I'm not hungry. Imagine I could find a space. Got to get some chicken wings today, she says. When I was a kid, chicken wings were dirt cheap. We had them all the time. And somebody came up with buffalo wings or something like that, then all of a sudden they become really popular. And the price went skyrocketing right to the freaking roof. Or at least was back then. So we didn't get to eat them anymore. Same thing with white meat. on birds, like white turkey meat or white chicken meat. Somehow they figure that it's more healthy to have that, or less fat, or whatever that is. And that went through the roof. Even chicken feet started to go up in price. We give those to the dogs for treats. Freeze them up. And if we need to get them in right now, the chicken feet, they know the word. They come right to the door and come right in. Gnaw one of them down. Those went up in price when people started realizing that they could coat them and deep fry them in a batter. I had a friend of mine at where I worked. He always ate those darn things at work. We thought he was a little bit odd, but now I'm telling you here right now, I'd like to give you a word of appreciation from me to you for following along on the Sheepy Hollow here. Really appreciate it. Some of you folks have been around for years, and always appreciate your comments, and I do my best to answer them right away, and thanks for watching.